There hasn't really been a whole lot of changes in the last 24 hours when it comes to prices around the space. Yes, we've seen more red. We've seen now actually 7 straight days of red for Shiba Inu with the potential of it flipping around today. And I'll talk about why that is. But what I do want to mention is actually some pretty big things that have happened over the last 24 hours. I talked about some of these in my ADA video, but Shiba Inu on a fundamental level saw a pretty big day that you guys need to be aware of to the tune of over 1 trillion SHIB. Yet again, it's happening more frequently. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. It's been growing like crazy and it's all because of you guys. Now, I will say that these have been very modest days of drop for SHIB. All right. We obviously had the ugly ones in the later part of last week. Every one of these other days, 1.5%, 2% yesterday. We're down about what, 0.25% today. I mean, and again, with the chance of flipping this around, but it sucks to see this kind of bleeding. It's not the longest period of consolidation that we've been in, but it definitely sucks nonetheless. I'm ready for things to pivot and start moving up, but you're seeing a lot of exhaustion from the market, a lot of people just getting tired of the war news. A lot of people are capitulating and crying and complaining. And I get it. Like I said, I'm a SHIB holder. I'm ready for things to move up. But I understand that we got to get through a lot of this garbage that is filling up the news and causing this negative sentiment in the market. Now, that being said, SHIB's just kind of floating around the same range. It's not really doing a whole lot here. But I will say there were some good things that happened in the last 24 hours. We did see the stablecoin bill get through the Senate. That's a great sign. It has to go to the House now for any potential revisions and voting there as well. That's a big step forward. We saw a big stablecoin minting, so there's a lot of capital flowing into the crypto market. And what I will say here in terms of Ethereum as well is still just continuing to hold that structure that we've been talking about for what, a month and a half now. Again, we're still just kind of pinballing around between our 200-day SMA and our 200-day EMA. And we're trying to get that breakout. We're trying to get that extension, right? Now, what I will say here as well is, like I talked about in my ADA video earlier today, still forming this triple bottom with altcoins. That's a great sign. Love to hold that. And hopefully we can make some progress moving forward. And what I did want to show everybody here as well is in terms of Ethereum, we're seeing huge whale buying taking place. In fact, whale net position changes. Look at how this has really accelerated in the last week here. They are just loading up and loading up and loading up. They're buying as much Ethereum as they can. And even on the institutional side, even with some of this uncertainty to begin the week, a couple ugly days of news hasn't dissuaded institutional money buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. Not surprising things. But then we have to ask ourselves, what is happening in terms of Shiba Inu? Are we seeing any changes there? And the answer is no. We are seeing still massive accumulations for Shiba Inu. In fact, yesterday, Shiba Inu whales added 1.34 trillion SHIB. Yeah, that's net flows. All right. This is now 3 straight days of accumulation. The other 2 days were kind of throwaway days, very small, just 30 billion, 40 billion or so. But this is becoming more and more frequent. Just in June alone, we've had 2 days of over 1 trillion SHIB accumulated by whales. And what we're seeing is a lot of these whales are accumulating and hoarding in these times. Yes, we talked about the wash trading from the other day, right, where there was 30 trillion SHIBs traded. But this is what this tends to lead to, is more longer term accumulation and holding when it comes to SHIB. Now, could this flip and we could see 1 trillion SHIB sold off a day from now? Sure, we could see that. I don't even know the last time we saw 1 trillion SHIB sold in a single day. But what we're also seeing is, again, continued all-time highs in terms of holders. We actually saw a 2,000 holder surge in the last, what was it, 5 days? So we're gaining about 400 SHIB holders per day. And you guys can see actually in the past 2 weeks, it's been a slow and steady march to the upside, just up and to the right. There are dips and ebbs and flows when it comes to that, but we're seeing Shiba Inu just continue to grow on a fundamental level. And I think that at times where, the market is frankly crap and there's not a whole lot going on, I think it's pretty important that as an asset on a fundamental level, you are taking steps forward. Right now, SHIB's sitting at a $6.8 billion market cap. We're still at number 19, technically number 17 overall, because again, I don't count stables. But right now, we're just kind of blah around the market. We're just kind of, about $120 billion in daily trading volume across the crypto space, about 150 million for SHIB. But we're just kind of putzing around, just waiting for some break in this news. Now, what I will say is again, like I talked about in my ADA video earlier today we have our FOMC meeting conclusion. So today at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll see the conclusion of that. Jerome Powell will speak. We'll probably get some volatility in the market based on his words, and hopefully we get some good news, something to give us a little bit of a spark, maybe erase a little bit of these losses that we've had the few days. I think at some point here, SHIB's going to make a little pivot, try to attack the top of this box again. And then it's kind of a question of, do we get enough to breach this? Do we maybe come back down and retest again? It sucks. It's boring. I get it, guys. And I'd love for things to heat up too, but we have to go through these process. You have to wash out the weak-handed people, because the more long-term, long-minded people that you have, the more diamond hands you have, the more extended the moves to the upside you can make. So we're stuck waiting. I'm ready for it to break. I hope you guys are. I'm sure you guys are as well, but we'll see what happens. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.